So, alright, let's just get this started up. Chapter 1. See what happens.
Dear Esther, the gulls do not land here anymore. I've noticed that this year they seem to shun the place. Maybe it's the depletion of the fishing stock driving them away. Perhaps it's me. When he first landed here, Donnelly wrote that the herds were sickly and their shepherds the lowest of the miserable classes that populate these Hebridean islands. 300 years later, even they have departed.
Alright, it starts out with a commentary, so I wasn't able to talk. But, this is Dear Esther, and I just bought it in a Humble Bundle, so I paid $1 and I got like 5 games. And this was in it, and it's created by the Chinese Room, which is the same people that made Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which is probably my favorite game ever made. It's just amazing, and I know from playing Amnesia they're really good at storytelling, and I assume so that this will be more of the same. But from what I've heard about this, it's not your average video game. It's not something that has an objective really. So I'm gonna take it with that approach and just kind of look around and explore a lot and just kind of look at everything and just kind of chill out, listen to the waves. And my first impression of this game right off the bat, it's very beautiful. Like this could actually be somewhere in the world. If you were going to go visit someplace, you could actually go here. Like, it's that well made that I think it's something like that. Like, it's just gorgeous. I mean, you can see the waves crashing on the beach. You can see the sky and the clouds moving. You can see the sunbeams coming through the clouds over there. And even yeah, you just see the sunbeams. And it's just amazing. And I do a lot of just looking out at the sky, looking out at the waves, because it just looks so good. I mean, even the rocks, I mean, they're mossy rocks and that's it. But the mossy rocks, they just look really good. So that's all I can really say about it. So, there's no sprint button. There's no way to really go faster. So, can't really complain about that much.
There was once talk of a wind farm out here, away from the rage and the intolerance of the masses. The sea, they said, is too rough for the turbines to stand. They clearly never came here to experience the becalming for themselves. Personally, I would have supported it. Turbines would be a fitting contemporary refuge for a hermit. The revolution and the permanence.
So, don't be alarmed if I don't talk all that much. A lot of this game was just, I mean, just playing this game, I just really liked listening. And I think if there was a sprint button or some way to go through it faster, it would kind of take away from it. Because it seems like you're just supposed to sit and walk and just enjoy it. And just listen to the waves and listen to the wind. And just listen to everything around you and just be tranquil in it. And I think if there was any way to go faster.
I found myself to be as featureless as this ocean, as shallow and unoccupied as this bay, a listless wreck without identification. My rocks are these bones, and a careful fence to keep the precipice at bay. Shot through me caves, my forehead a mount. This aerial will transmit into me so. All overexposed, the nervous system, where Donnelly's boots and yours and mine still trample. I will carry a torch for you. I will leave it at the foot of my headstone. You will need it for the tunnels that carry me under.
And I just think that if there's any faster way, it would just ruin it, ruin the mood. So it's kind of slow to begin with. There's not much going on. You don't really know what's going on. The water's kind of freaky. That's the only weird thing about this game, is the water's really freaky. When you go down in it, it's like, I don't even know what's going on in it. And also, there's no jump button, so you see me here, I'm getting lifted up on rocks like that, and that's the game doing it to itself. It automatically makes you duck and crouch and jump and you don't control any of that. You can't jump on your own. So whenever you need to go over something, it automatically do it for you. The only controls in the game that I've found is just W, A, S, and D to move forward, backwards, left, and right. And anything else, yeah, there's not really much. You can't crouch on your own, you can't sprint on your own, etc. Everything's pretty much done for you. It really looks like that all they want you to do is to immerse yourself into the story. And with Amnesia, that was a big part of it, was immersing yourself, because if you didn't, then you weren't going to have a fun time. I mean, I was scared shitless in Amnesia, and it was fantastic, but I was so scared, but the story was what made me want to keep going. So I'm scared to play this game, but I want to know what happens next. It's like a good book. You just want to know what happens next, and that's it. That's all there is to it. And you know it's a good game when, I mean, you can hate the game to death, but if you want to know if you're going to play just to know what happens next, then you know the story is really, really good. So there's a lot of dead ends in this, and there's not really all that much looking around, or I guess that's not the way to put it. There's not a whole lot of exploring. There's a lot of parts, well, there is exploring, but there's a lot of parts where there's like an invisible barrier that doesn't let you go through. So you'll walk up into a wall and you like try to explore a boat or something, and you'll try to explore more because you want to explore more, and there'll just be a wall there and it won't let you do it. And since there's no jump button, you can't jump up on it, and it's not going to let you jump on it, and it's kind of lame.
Donnelly's book had not been taken out from the library since 1974. I decided it would never be missed as I slipped it under my coat and avoided the librarian's gaze on the way out. If the subject matter is obscure, the writer's literary style is even more so. It is not the text of a stable or trustworthy reporter. Perhaps it is fitting that my only companion in these last days should be a stolen book written by a dying man.
There's one thing I also noticed is that if you see a breeze effect like that,
when someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or a fishing boat, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
but the wind effects in this game, since it's made by the same people, if you've played Amnesia, it's the exact same, at least to me, it looks like the exact same wind effects or the breeze effects that are in Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
We are not like Lot's wife, you and I. We feel no particular need to turn back. There's nothing to be seen if we did. No tired old man parting the cliffs with his arms. No gifts or Bibles laid out on the sand for the taking. No tides turning or the shrieking gulls overhead. The bones of the hermit are no longer laid out for the taking. I have stolen them away to the guts of this island, where the passages all run to black, and where we can light each other's faces by their strange luminescence.
So if you've played both of them, there are some parts, some effects that you can see, and some landscape that you can notice that's kind of the same.
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life. I would leave you presents outside your retreat in this interim space between cliff and beach. I would leave you loaves and fishes, but the fish stocks have been depleted and I've run out of bread. I would row you back to your homeland in a bottomless boat, but I fear we would both be driven mad by the chatter of the sea creatures.
And also, you don't have any control over the flashlight either. The flashlight just automatically, it seems to automatically come on whenever you go into a dark place. Unless it's lit up by these things. But if there's not enough glow, then the flashlight will come on anyway. So, just starting out, I don't really have any idea what the story's about. The guy's just kind of talking about things that don't mean anything to you. So, trying to figure out what's going on, and I mean, I'm looking at symbols, and it kind of looks like circuit boards, or like atoms, like a hydrogen and an oxygen, like kind of atoms, putting atoms together. So, that's just what it looks like to me. I don't know exactly what it is, but the thing I did notice, there's paint all over, there's paint everywhere, so whoever did it, I mean, they're just painting on the walls. So, and I mean, like this, I want to go over to that ship over there. It's like, I don't know what's over there, so I was gonna go check it out. And I mean, like right here, I can't get up because there's no jump button. So I'm trying to see if it's gonna like push me over there or something. It's like right here, I'm gonna try to get up. It's gonna throw me up a little bit, but it's not gonna let me go any further than this. It's about right here. That's all it's gonna let me do. But the game does a little railroading where it puts you on a straight path, but it does it in the way where there's no arrows or anything telling you to go there. You just feel the need to go there. And I really don't want to go in the dark water. So when you go underwater, it kind of freaks me out a little bit. So yeah. So I'm gonna try to go straight in a moment. See if I can just walk straight out, and maybe I'll come up. I don't know. So let's try that. Just gonna deal with the noises, deal with the images. It's really weird.
Come back.
How? Okay. So I guess you can't really kind of die, but I guess it's just like puts you back in a spot on the path. No big deal. So I guess I'm gonna go follow this stream. We'll see where this goes. So I can't see. It's like that's what I'm talking about. So there's not really anywhere else to go, but I mean there's a path there in the stream here, but it's not really like, hey, go this way. But you still know that you have to go this way. So it does railroad in the way that it shoves you to one way, but it doesn't make it 100% obvious. Like there's still...
I've become convinced I am not alone here, even though I'm equally sure it is simply a delusion brought upon by circumstance. I do not, for instance, remember where I found the candles, or why I took it upon myself to light such a strange pathway. Perhaps it is only for those who are bound to follow.
Like there's still ways that you can explore to an extent. Just, you can't... Seems like you can't do whatever you want. But I mean, I feel like this game is for the scenery, for the feel, for the tranquilness that you feel from hearing the wind and the crashing on the waves. And I believe that says chemistry. So I think I was right, actually. It's a chemistry book, so maybe those are atoms. So, it's kind of close. But I mean, I'm really big on nature. So this game, my love for video games, my love for nature combined together. So I thought this game was really awesome. If you're looking for like a gaming experience, then you probably wouldn't like this game. But if you like feeling tranquil, feeling relaxed, feeling calm, and just enjoying everything that you see, then you'd probably get a kick out of this game. And I believe right here we're going to go through a portal to the next zone.